Hey, what's up? You're live, right?
We are live, baby.
Think I should get a notification. Yeah. Yeah, people.
Let's see. Nothing yet. Waiting on people to show up. And JP, let me check the group, make sure that it posted.
Yes, right. So click on the link above or below the video that you see, facebook.com/StreamYard to join the conversation live. So this is our episode 2, the 0 to 100K show. And we have a special guest today, which Rory will make an announcement. And we will be talking about closing more clients for your agency. And by the way, we already closed the deal. So we are at 24K a year. That's 2K a month recurring. And we're building connections. We are talking to other loan officers as well. So maybe next week we get a few more. So yeah, about the spreadsheet, Rory, the task that we gave.
Yeah, man. So I posted the spreadsheet this week and waiting for some people to actually fill it out. And hold on, there's JP. Let's bring him on board. JP.
How's it going, guys?
What's happening, man? What's going on?
So we are on the.
Let me see what settings this is on camera.
Yes. So Devon. So click on the link above or below the video to join the stream live, to join the conversation at streamyard.com/Facebook. So, and this way we can put your comment on the conversation and you can join us live. So over to you, Rory.
Yeah, man. So we got JP today. And it's an honor, man. It's our second show. We're bringing on a heavy hitter here. So I'm going to read a little bit about his background. He's an American entrepreneur. He's an investor, a philanthropist, and he's got over 26 years experience starting, building, and selling companies in publishing, media, advertising, software, e-commerce, textiles, training, real estate, consulting.
Okay, real estate, you name it, right?
You name it, man. He's done it. He's the founder and CEO of Harbor City Capital, which is a global alternative investment group that specializes in buying, building, and monetizing digital assets. His group includes a collection of companies and joint ventures involved in publishing, software, media training, consulting, internet commerce, and he's also an advisor and board member with several other companies. His clients, his past and current clients include companies like Wells Fargo, Century 21, Precision Auto Tune, The Maids, Metric Property Management, BlackRock, National Apartment Association. I mean, the list is endless. Independent Bankers Association of Texas, Texas Association of Business, Texas Credit Union League, and many other corporations that aren't even listed here. He's the best-selling author and co-author of over 30 books and audio and video learning systems. His articles and columns have appeared in dozens of print and online publications throughout the U.S. and internationally. And additionally, he's collaborated and organized and published business and self-improvement books with over 70 other industry authorities. He's a popular keynote and seminar speaker with over 2,500 presentations under his belt. JP Maroney inspires, educates audiences with his business principles, ideas, and strategies that have hammered out on the anvil of experience. So today we have JP Maroney.
Hey, guys. Remember that I got to give you that Benjamin for making that nice introduction.
We'll post it in the group.
Hey, my pleasure to be on, guys. I'm really excited about I'm glad that I got to come on and give value, but I'm super excited about what you guys are doing with the transparency and how y'all are putting this entire program out right in front of people, letting them see it. I don't know if y'all saw my Facebook post, but I said, seeing is believing and the proof is in the pudding. So I love what y'all are doing. Mad respect for that. So.
Thanks, man. I mean, now we got to live up to it, right, Tahim?
Yes, right.
So, all right. Where do you guys want to, do y'all want to jump in and teach? Did y'all want to ask some questions? You want me to give a little bit of background just so that there's some context? How would you like me to pursue this?
Yeah, man, give a little background and just start teaching. We'll leave the questions at the end to see.
Yeah, because the group is fired up to learn more about the system that you're gonna talk about today, the three-step process of acquiring more clients and scaling an agency, making more sales. So that's the context they would like to learn more about in this show, I think.
Let me see if I can make JP the main guy here.
Screen here as well.
Yeah, there's a share screen at the bottom. Huh?
Yeah, let me put this up here real quick. I even made slides for you guys. Can you imagine that?
Well, it's not. Hold on, I gotta try and make you the main guy here. There we go.
Yeah, awesome. We are good to go. Perfect.
So when I talk, I'll be up there. Can you make me the guy and have the slides up there?
Yeah, I'm working on that.
Okay, cool. I'm going to jump in while you're working on the technical side of it and give a little bit of background just so that people have some context. I've been building companies. You said 26. The bio needs to be updated. This year is 30 years that I've been building companies. I started my first business a little over 30 years now, because started my first business when I was 19 years old. I can remember driving around in Tyler, Texas when I was a teenager, looking at buildings, wondering which of them would be big enough to house my business empire. And I happened to be driving a 78 Pontiac Le Mans with the headliner hanging down and a broken gear shift held together with a coat hanger. But I had this big vision and dream of what I was going to do as a business builder. And that started a journey that has lasted now, 30 plus years of growing companies. And I was on a radio station interview on, I guess it was Wednesday of this week, something like that. It was National Be a Millionaire Day. And they had me on the radio station talking about what it takes to be a millionaire, what it takes to become a millionaire. And I was talking about the fact that you don't become successful in life unless you've made a lot of mistakes, had a lot of setbacks or failures, and skinned your shins and bloodied your knees a few times. And when you were reading my bio, what I wrote in there years ago about the things that I share are hammered out on the anvil of experience, means that I don't tell anyone to do anything that I haven't already done myself. I'm a big believer that if you want to be a master, guys, in fact, I would write this down. This is a great quote. If you want to be a master at anything, study what the masters have done before you, learn to do what they have done, have the guts to do it, and you can be a master just like them. One more time. If you want to be a master at anything, that's growing an agency, building a business, closing more sales, whatever it is that you're trying to master and become great at, exceptional at, a peak performer at, study what other people who have already gone and done it have done. And you're going to shortcut so many of those mistakes and allow yourself to accelerate yourself so much faster. And that's what I'm so excited about. What Tuan and Rory are doing is that you guys are showing people exactly how it's really done by letting people look over your shoulder and be a fly on the wall. So I'm excited about that. But study what they have done and then have the guts to do it. That's the key. A lot of people don't have the guts to take the steps that it takes to become successful. They don't have the guts to get back up and go again when they fail. Sometimes I've had some very public, what I felt like were life-altering failures, epic failures, where I felt like everybody was looking at me and going, "What the heck, man? What's the deal? How could you, who supposedly knew what you were doing, have another failure or mistake or a stumble?" And so, business is both an art and a science. And growing a company, in this case, an agency, obviously takes tenacity. It takes a strategy. It takes a plan. It takes the ability and the willingness to keep pursuing your dreams, setting big goals. I love that you guys quantified going from 0 to 100,000 a month with your example agency that you're putting out there in front of people. So it's all about making sure that you learn from other people and make sure that you don't make the same mistakes. I believe there's basically three kind of people in this world, probably three kind of people watching this show or this recording later. You're either stupid, smart, or successful. Now, I'm going to give you the definition. Stupid people never learn from their own mistakes. Smart people do, but successful people learn from the mistakes of others. Do you realize that you can get on a webcast like this on a Saturday morning or read a book for $20, Audible for one credit, cost you $10 or $15 or $20, and learn in a weekend what it took someone else a lifetime to learn, and shortcut all of those mistakes that they've made? And so I say these things to kind of pre-frame what we're going to go over today, because what I'm going to share with you, what I'm putting up on the slides, is real world, real stuff that works. It's worked for many years. It's principle based. It's not going to stop working, and it's going to shortcut your success in building your agency or your business. So let's jump into the slides. Are you, Rory and Tuan, you ready? Is this everything fixed technologically? You ready to dive into the teaching?
Yeah, man. I got the slide on the screen.
All right. Excellent. So I put up here, close more clients and grow your agency, because I know that's what you guys that are following Tuan and Rory are looking for, is the ability to build your business. But no matter what business you're in, you can use this strategy to grow your business. And so I'm going to tell you, this is going to be wicked, wicked cool, and it's going to shortcut your success. And Rory, Tuan, you and I didn't talk in depth about my exposure to Jay Abraham years ago, 20-something years ago. But Rory has been on a path of, consuming Jay's stuff, and I'm a big fan of it. So this is one thing that many, many years ago, I learned from one of my mentors before I ever knew Jay existed. But then when I was exposed to Jay's stuff and learned what he calls a host beneficiary or a host parasite relationship, essentially a strategic alliance, something that is piggybacking off of the success of another, this is that three-step strategy. Once you learn this, once you harness this in your business and you execute on this in your business, I guarantee you, you're going to never, ever, ever be the same again. I have one of my greatest favorite quotes says, once the mind is expanded to the dimension of new thought, it never retracts to its original size or shape. One more time. Once the mind of a man or woman is expanded to the dimension of new thought, it never goes back to what it was before. So after you're exposed to this today, after you see this webcast or this recording, I guarantee you, you'll never, ever be the same again. You won't be able to think about business or business growth in the same way that you did in the past. So number one, it's a three-step process that's going to shortcut your success. Number one is I want you to identify complementary, non-competitive businesses that are in your vertical. What does that mean? It means that there are businesses out there that don't do exactly what you do, but they already sell to the same target customers that you want to sell to. They have the respect of those people. They have access to those people. They have built on layers of trust. I often say that people buy in layers and they learn in layers. And the reason that happens is because people have talked about you have to be exposed to a marketing message or an advertising message 7 times. There's different people have different metrics or different numbers, but up to 7 times or 12 times before you actually are willing to make the purchase. Why is that true? It's because when we first are exposed to a new idea, a new concept, a new solution, we don't trust it. It resonates with us. We think it kind of makes sense, but we don't trust it yet. We may not trust the solution provider. We may not trust the idea. In our case, for example, Harbor City, we've created what we call secured bonds, which allowed us to, I'm a big like creating irresistible offers, for example. And we created a bond product that the principal of that investment, meaning the money they put into the investment, is secured and cash backed, meaning they can't lose their principal because they could go and make a claim, almost like an insurance policy against failure in an investment. Well, we redefined how risk reward works in investing. And we have a lot of people that go, that sounds too good to be true, until they see the document from Deutsche Bank that says there's money in a bank blocked. So you have to prove it to people, right? But the first time they're exposed to a new idea, in your case, what your agency can do for their business, they go, that sounds kind of cool. But, I'm getting phone calls every single day from people saying that they can do the exact same thing you're telling me you can do. And they're lead generation companies, and there's Home Advisor coming, and there's this and there's that and there's that. You're competing against all of that. And so how do you separate yourself from that pack? And how do you differentiate, and how do you gain a competitive edge? Well, first step is to identify the other businesses that are in your market who sell to and service the same prospects or customers that you want to sell to, but who don't offer a competing service. So I'm going to give you a question that you can sort of ask yourself. Jesse, can you get a bottle of water? I forgot to get it before I came in here. Jesse, our video guy, working double duty, coming out on a Saturday morning. That was awesome. So Jesse's coming out and filming. By the way, guys, never, ever, ever give content and don't capture it. You can always use the content. So we're capturing this as content for our business. But so a question you can ask yourself is, who already sells to the people that I want to sell to and has their respect and access to that audience? Who already sells to the people I want to sell to and already has the respect and access. When I mean respect, it means trust and bonding. They've already been doing business with them for years. So I'm going to give you a very quick example of a company I did this with, and I've done this many, many years, and I really owe a lot to my mentor, Joe, and to Jay Abraham for teaching me this strategy years ago, because it became a tool in my arsenal, in my toolbox that I've used over and over and over again. So I took on a client many, many years ago that was in the shredding business. They shredded paper, sensitive documents, x-rays, hard drives. They had these big trucks roll in, park next to your building. They bring out stuff in bins and shred it, or they have a sort of like a secured trash can box thing on your property, and your people throw secure documents in it throughout the week, and they come by, pick it up, shred it, put it back. So it takes care of that risk factor of exposing sensitive data to other people. So this guy had been very successful in the floor covering business, furniture installation business. He'd been around the commercial industry serving business for many years, and he had started this company. He had bought some trucks and was going out there and trying to start this service. He had been successful in getting some accounts, and we were working on another project unrelated to that. Whenever I found out about his shredding business, we got to talking about it. And I said, look, I think I have a good idea of how we could grow this business very, very quickly. So I sat down to him and explained this same strategy that I'm going to give you. And I'm going to open up the idea and the story to you. And as I teach you this, I'm going to use this as a model, an example for using this strategy. But what we did was, the results, the outcome was, we tripled the size of his business in 90 days. 300% growth in his business in 90 days. Now, in the internet space, we're used to accelerated growth strategies, right? We go out, run some ads, put a bunch of people in a funnel, very, very quickly grow a business. In the traditional business world, I know guys that if they could grow 10, 15, 20% a year, they would feel like they had, manna from heaven coming down. And so that's fine. And so, thank you, sir. Yeah, there wasn't water in the machine. All right. So what we did was we executed this strategy, and I said to him, I said, I want you to sit down and make a list of everyone you know who is complementary but non-competitive to your shredding business, meaning you're not going to approach other shredders, right? That doesn't make sense. But who else sells to your customer? Now, that brings you to an interesting dilemma that you have to have completely dialed in who your target customer is, right? So you have to know exactly who it is that you're selling to before you can execute on this strategy. So if you're an agency owner or a business owner of any other kind, the first thing you need to have done, and if you haven't, you need to do it now when we're done with this little podcast workshop, is sit down and say, who is it that I am really trying to sell to? Who is my ideal target? Some people call it an avatar. And we've got a worksheet. In fact, if y'all don't have one, I can hook your guys up. We can give them a download link to be able to download an avatar worksheet that we use in our companies. So, but how do you identify who that target customer is? Once you've done that, then you can say, well, who else sells to them? So in his case, he said, well, it's business owners, primarily business owners in these certain verticals who, for example, have x-rays, sensitive data, law firms, for example, financial and accounting firms, anybody that would want to make sure that no one gets a hold of the paperwork or the hard drives or the x-rays or film or anything that they've been producing in their business. So that was his target. And then he said, well, who else sells to those? And I had him make a huge list of all the other businesses that already sell to those people. Had him go down that list and identify who he already knows and had a relationship with that he could approach about putting together one of these leveraged marketing campaigns with, these strategic alliances that we're going to talk about here. So once you've identified who those people are, he said, well, I found one that does commercial furniture installation, another one that does carpet cleaning, and one that puts out bottled waters in the big bottles of water in companies, the machines, you know. And he had a whole list of people that he was a member of, like the local Kiwanis or Rotary with, or that he went to church with. And I prompted him through all this process. Who do you go to church with? Who do you know? Who are your cousins and uncles that run businesses? Like, do any of them fit these categories that are complementary but non-competitive to your business? So he made the list, identified the people on the list. Then I gave him an approach. The approach that I gave him is what I'm going to share with you right now. And that is, you're going to approach them, step number 2, with a plan for a strategic alliance. Now, if you don't know what to say, you're going to feel very uncomfortable with this process. But if you know what to say and you know how to do it in a very non-threatening way, this is such a natural part of life and doing business. So I'm going to give you guys a formula for approaching these people and putting a deal together with them. So the approach is what I call front-end contracting. Front-end contracting is 3 pieces. Learn more about you, let you learn more about me, and then see where we have synergy. So I'm going to use Rory as an example. Rory, I come to you and I've already identified that you sell to the people that I want to sell to. We both have a common target customer. You already have a list of people that know, like, and trust you, that you've been doing business with, who trust your service, who trust your ethics, who trust your willingness to go the extra mile. You've done all of that layers, right, of stacking on layers of trust and bonding. And you and I happen to know each other. We met at an industry conference, or we've known each other from church, or we've known each other from some sort of a business group that we're attending at the same time. And I pick up the phone and I call you, and here's my 3-step model. I say, hey, Rory, I've been thinking about you, been thinking about your business. And I think that there's probably a lot of potential between our businesses to help each other grow our businesses. Here's what I'd like to do. I'd like for you and I to sit down over coffee next week. We'll work out a day and a time. I want to learn more about you, your business, what you do, how you do it, who you serve, how you're selling to those people. Then I want to share a little bit more about our company, what we do, let you learn about how we serve people, how we're growing, why we're growing, what we're doing, how we're approaching the market. And then, step number 3, see where we might have some synergy where we could help each other grow our businesses. Fair enough?
Yeah.
Who's going to turn that down? You already have a relationship with Rory, right? Because you've met, etc. So you're not like you're cold calling out of the phone book to try to find people, although you could do that. But you're approaching people. You already have some level of relationship. Say, hey, I want to learn more about you. I want to share some about what we're doing and see where we might have an opportunity. I'm not being presumptuous. I'm not being putting any pressure. I'm not assuming anything. I'm not saying anything in advance. It just, I think there's some potential here. And if you want to grow your business and I want to grow your business, it makes sense for us to sit down over a cup of coffee, or if you're not in the same town, sit down over a Zoom webcast or something and talk about how we might benefit or help each other. You guys think you could do that? Rory, Tuan, y'all think y'all can make that kind of a phone call to somebody?
Definitely.
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
I think anybody, they already have connections at some level. maybe they haven't thought about it that way, but people have connections in like
You
similar.
have it. You're right. And the moment you sit down and you inventory those contacts, you realize how much value is sitting idle in your Rolodex. What I call, I'm old, so it's called a Rolodex. Today we call it a database or a CRM. But back in the day, we had a thing that you flip these little cards on some rails. They called it a Rolodex. But anyway, step number 3 in this process. So you've approached these people, you've gotten a meeting with them, and as you sit down with them, you put together a plan for how you could do a cross promotion with them and how it makes sense. This is, by the way, guys, an entire course. I taught it in the past to guys. We could teach it, but I want to give you the framework. We have like 30 minutes together today. So step number 3, execute a leveraged client acquisition campaign with them. What does that mean? It means an opportunity to introduce your business to their clients who already know, like, and trust them. And that can come in a lot of ways. So I'm going to give you some examples. Number 1, it could be an event. It could be where if you're in a local market, maybe you host an after hours, you buy some hors d'oeuvres, or what one of my friends called horty hors, but you buy some hors d'oeuvres and you invite everybody to come, and your VIP client, their VIP clients come, and you do a little information thing, or you just meet them and talk to them. Maybe you do a little luncheon, a little round table at a breakfast or a luncheon about business growth. And maybe you do something super informal at that round table and share with each of those business owners how they could grow their business. And then ultimately, that obviously could lead to potentially an agency relationship. Could be a seminar. You actually physically go and do a seminar. I did a seminar years ago, closed $110,000 in consulting business in 45 minutes from a little seminar with like 30 people in the seminar. And there were like husband and wife teams and business partner teams. And they were like 12 buying units in the room, closed over 6 figures in one little free seminar I gave away called 5 Ways to Double or Triple Your Business. That's all it was. But the key to that was I had a strategic alliance partner who was complementary, non-competitive, who had a list of business owners that met the criteria I was trying to sell to. And he promoted that to his list. This is back in the days of fax. He faxed it out to his list, and people signed up for this little webinar or a seminar in person, physically. And all I did was I got up and I gave value. And what I did, you guys could use this model. I taught for about 45 minutes. At the end, I did a hot seat with a couple of people in the room. And a hot seat is basically letting them sit there and you break down their business and specifically apply what you've just been talking about to one specific business right in front of people. So it's like a consult right in front of other people. And then at the end, I said, hey guys, you like this? You like this idea? Would you like to be able to do the same thing? Fill out a form and let's talk about doing business. And I closed $110,000 in new consulting clients from a 45-minute speech. It works. So you could do the same thing too. A webinar, a virtual version of that, a mailing. And I'm going to talk about that with this client that we mentioned, this model that we talked about. And you could also do a collaboration. I kind of think of now, there's nobody on here today that I'm like trying to target you. I did this as a favor to Rory and Tuan to come and just share some knowledge. And obviously Jesse's here. We're capturing some content. But if I were trying to recruit agency clients, I could have used this collaboration appearing together on some sort of a podcast or a video recording or something. I consider those collaborations. They're very easy to do. You put together a few slides, you teach their people some stuff that they need to teach. And if their people like it, maybe they want to come to you and learn how to get access to your stuff. So that anybody can do this. This is something you can start doing immediately. So let me talk about for just a second what this looked like with my particular client. So he made that big list. He identified the people on his list that fit that criteria that he had a personal relationship with. He booked the coffee meetings with them, breakfast meetings with them, went out and met with them, got them to agree. Now, what I did for him was I built the whole campaign. I wrote the letter of endorsement or introduction. I created a little gift certificate that gave away a first month free of shredding services.
Wow.
And I gave him kind of a framework for how this should work and told him what to say to them. So what he offered to these people was, he said, I will pay for the mailing, pay for the printing, and pay for the mailing. I will be glad to give you money for each person that comes on board and becomes a customer ultimately, if you want money. Or, and this was my suggestion to him, because some people feel a little weird about getting referral fees and stuff like that. They don't think that it feels weird to them, about taking money for sending someone to a customer to somebody. And I said, give them an out and say, if they don't want the referral fees, that whatever money is generated, that you'll make a donation in their name to whatever their favorite cause is. And that gave people, let them off the hook of feeling like it was weird or unethical or strange. So he went out, he made the approach, he got the relationships. We ended up with 3 relationships. One was that commercial furniture installation company, commercial carpet cleaning company, and the bottled water company. And he approached several people, but the close ratio was high. It was like maybe approached 5, 6, 7, 10 people. He got 3 people locked down, willing to do it. The furniture installation and the carpet cleaning company both mailed their list. He paid for the postage. He paid for the letter, the printing. The letter basically was, hey, it was a setup. It was copy, right? The setup was, hey, we're in a time where data is sensitive. It's important. You don't want to expose your customer data, et cetera. The best way to take care of that is to make sure that you're shredding that data. I've been working with a company that does an exceptional job. Here's why they're amazing and wonderful and trustworthy and dependable. And I have, on your behalf, as a gift to you, negotiated a first month of free shredding to give to you. And there's a gift certificate enclosed with this letter. And so that the gift certificate, number one, is it placed some value. I hate coupons. I mentioned this to Rory. I hate the term coupon because that devalues a service, right? 10% off, 20% off. It's also an elusive number. People don't know what that means. They have to do math, right? But if you can give a specific $100 gift certificate, or a gift certificate for a massage, for example, a haircut, a first mow, a free month of services, etc., that's tangible, a free consult, or whatever. So you have to establish a value exchange with that gift certificate. Excuse me. So we gave them the gift certificate. The bottled water company didn't want to mail their list because they were already mailing their list statements every month. So what they did is they had him give them 2 sets of the letters and the gift certificates. That was, let's say they were mailing out 600 statements a month. They had him give them 1,200 of these letters and gift certificates, and they inserted it in with their statements that went out to all of their customers for 2 months in a row. What was the result I told you earlier? In 90 days, 3 months, we tripled the size of his business. 300% growth in his accounts, paid accounts in his business. He was written up in the paper. There were all kinds of things that came from this. This model works, guys, and it's a 3-step process. Who sells to the people you want to sell to that don't compete with you? Approach them and put together a strategic alliance, and then execute on that with some sort of a tangible promotion that has a finite call to action. So call us and get this first free month shred. Call us and get this access to this tool for a month. Call us and we'll do an SEO analysis on your business. Call us and whatever it is. Now, the bigger value you can provide up front, the better. Meaning, what do you lose by providing people exceptional value and giving them results in advance of them giving you money? You want to think about that. So I'm a big proponent of what I call an irresistible offer. And that means you need to think about, what could I put down that my prospective clients would want so bad that when they're exposed to this letter, this endorsement, this opportunity, that they would be willing to exchange their information for that free sample to try the service or whatever that free thing is. Make sense?
Yeah.
Tuin, you were trying to say something?
Yes. Do we add a sense of urgency? I mean, like the coupon or something that expires in 10 days, or we just, I mean,
Yes,
you know?
yes. So you want to put a good point. So you want to put a deadline on this. You know, anyone who responds by this date, and you can also put a scarcity on it. So in certain businesses, there are very real. So you don't want manufactured artificial scarcity, right? People will see through that real fast. So you want authentic scarcity and urgency, meaning we can only take 5 new clients that we're not charging for a month, or 10 clients. So you could even put that in your letter. You could say, hey, there's a limit to the number of these free months things or whatever that Bob's services can provide. And so call him right away to be able to get your name in the hat and on the list. And if you were on the receiving end of that and you wanted to throttle that, you could literally say, okay, I'm going to put you in month 1. The first 4 or 5 or 10 in month 1, and anybody else that comes in goes in month 2, and then month 3, and then month 4. You could stack it out if you wanted to. I have a concept that I've wanted to do this. Number one, restaurant businesses, I don't have a lot of access to restaurant owners, but I wanted to buy a restaurant or to go in and partner with somebody and do this, because I think I can pack out a restaurant and keep it packed out with this type of a strategy. But one of the things I've thought through in my head for many, many years about this was that what I would do in that particular case is I would say, we can only accept so many reservations on this. We'll buy your first meal for you on Tuesday nights. We can only accept 5 people every Tuesday. So we have a list with 5 blanks on it, and we put those names on, and then we do the next Tuesday, the next Tuesday, the next Tuesday, and you could build a business like that. That could work in any business, but you're right. You want a deadline that creates urgency, and if possible, you want limited numbers or quantities so that you create scarcity. Good point and good question.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings me to what I'm going to do next, because we got to get out of here, is any questions. And so I don't know if, I'm not sure y'all's system, you're doing this Facebook Live maybe or something. So if you've got anybody asking questions in text, or if y'all have questions, you'd like me to clarify anything, otherwise we can finish up.
Yeah, I've got a few. I mean, I guess people are scared to put comments. I don't know what the deal is. Normally people post some comments here while we're live, but I had somebody sent me over here. Let me put my eyes on. So when you're looking for those strategic alliances in the beginning, I guess in step 1, you're looking for joint ventures or whatever. Where do you find those companies? What works best? Online, face-to-face? Is there certain websites you go to? Something like that?
Well, I don't know if you read Acres of Diamonds or not. It's an old thing. People, in fact, I've got a PDF I give away free of this with the Acres of Diamonds by Russell Conwell. But the principle behind that Acres of Diamonds is that it's in your own backyard. And in most cases, these contacts are in your own backyard. I would first go to your LinkedIn and your Facebook and any other contact list that you have where you already have relationships with people that you've done business with, or that you've attended conferences with, or you've networked with. Go to your Facebook Messenger. Who have I messaged with over the last 6 months? And put your filter in, right? Of these people, do any of them currently sell to the people that I want to sell to? I think you're much better off going in warm on this kind of a strategy than you are going in cold. You could go in cold. So if you wanted to go in cold, you would sit down and you would make that hit list of all the businesses that sell to the people that you want to sell to. And I would find some affinity. I'd call them up and I'd say, hey, Bob, you and I are in the Melbourne area, right? So I would find some point of connection with them. We're both in Tuan and Rory's Facebook group. You know what I mean? So I would find some connection that I could open with and say, we're both in Roy and Tuan's Facebook group, or we're both in the Melbourne area. I went out and looked at your LinkedIn. I looked at your website. It's obvious to me that we sell to a lot of the same people. I know for a fact some of my people would benefit from your services. I bet there's some of your people that would benefit from my services. Here's what I'd like to suggest. Boom, 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 right?
Nice.
So if you were going in cold, find some form of affinity between you and them.
Oh, that's good, man. That's good. That definitely should answer the question. I have another one here. Actually, this one, it's when we were talking about the gift certificates, I have someone I work with that I mean, they deal with really, really high end clients, and they keep, he keeps telling me like gift certificates aren't going to work. Like I need something else to be able to entice people. Besides, like they're not really like. I mean, nobody minds saving money, but you can't offer them a $300 certificate when it's a $500,000 project or $1 million project. Like,
yeah, so you can create lead magnets as well. So we're all familiar with. So if you have let me give you an example. My preference is to let people sample the service. That's the best because it's results in advance. Now, sometimes you can't do that. Your product, like I can't give somebody our bonds and they start making money off the bonds and then they can invest their money later, right? So that's not possible. So you have to look at a customer journey from where they are today to where they want to be, the result, and see if there's something in that process that you can provide to them that gets them closer to where they want to be. And you can package that in the form of a lead magnet. So it could be a cheat sheet or an education piece or something else that moves them down the path. And, many of us have done strategic alliances and joint ventures where we did like this, a webinar or a video conference, and we gave a lot of value. And like today, I would be willing to bet, I'm not offering any services. So I'm going to make something up. Let's say that I sold sales training for agency owners to teach them in the trenches sales techniques to close more clients, right? And I was trying to do that. I could very easily offer at the end a first month in a mastermind or coaching program or in some sort of a limited, smaller group, but expose them to my knowledge and my ability. I could offer them a first free consult strategy call. I was doing these back in 2003, 4, 5, 6 before everybody started doing strategy calls. So I know a lot of people do strategy calls now as a way to close. And if it's a thinly veiled sales pitch and not really delivering value, again, people will see through that very, very quickly. But in the past, when I offered consulting and coaching, I charged $1,000 an hour for consulting and coaching. And I mean, this is not like a number I made up. I can show people PayPal and merchant accounts where we had those transactions where I charged people for that. And what I did, though, is when I gave a strategy call, a free consult, and I told people up front, I gave as much value on that free strategy call as if they had paid me $1,000. I held nothing back. And here's why. I believe if you can tell everything you know to somebody in 1 hour, you don't know very much. And so why are you worried about giving away too much? Give everything you can on the upfront to people, and they'll be attracted to you. Don't hold anything back. I've Facebook messaged people before and said, hey, you got a broken link on your website. And by the way, if you'd like to learn how to let's get on a call. This is years ago. And they'd get on a call with me and I would just open up the pipes. I'm like, you need to do this, and you could do this and do this. And they're like, dude, could we get you to help us do this? So people want to give back. Reciprocity is an extremely powerful engine for growth and for relationships and for selling. I believe this. You can write this down. The more you give, the more you get. But you got to give before you get. That's law. You can't circumvent that. And so when you're thinking about, I can't give away my product, that is true in some cases. My bonds are an example. There's some products you just can't give somebody a car. Now you could let them test drive the car, and there's some aspects of that, but you can't give them the car so what could you do? You have to think about that. What are some of the things that you could do to expose people to your services in advance? I can give you an example with a jewelry store, for example. They wanted to sell more jewelry products, but they also had a service department. So we created a gift certificate. They gave away $25 in free jewelry service and repairs. People could come in and use it to get stuff fixed, an old watch that they've had in their drawer forever, and they could bring it in. And what I knew was my client's markup was about 3x on service. So a $25 gift certificate cost him $8, $8.35 or whatever. So to acquire a client for $8 and something, in what world does that not look good, right? So you have to understand your business model and your client acquisition cost and what the lifetime value of a client is. But what happened is they had people come in the store, get service, and then while they're getting service, they're looking around in the cases and they end up buying something, or they get on his list and now he's marketing to them and they buy stuff over time because we had already established what the lifetime value of a client was. So you just have to think creatively. Sometimes you can't give the product or service. Years ago, I visited the Coca-Cola factory in Atlanta, Georgia. And I went through on the tour, and at the end in the little gift store, I bought the DVD. This is back in the days when we put movies on disc. But I bought the DVD documentary of the story of Coca-Cola. And I watched it many, many, many times. Now, I'm not watching it for entertainment. I'm a business guy. So I'm like, what can I learn here? And one of the things that was interesting, so Doc Pemberton started Coca-Cola Company, but he didn't make a success of it. It was Asa Candler who bought the company from Doc Pemberton and ultimately built that company into a success. What Asa Candler did to grow Coca-Cola in the early days is he created little certificates for a first-time free Coca-Cola. And he gave it to traveling salesmen who went all throughout the United States giving away. You remember that song, I'd Love to Buy the World a Coke? Asa Candler bought everybody their first Coke. Have a Coke on me. Why? Because he knew if they liked the product, they'd be back again. The more that you can think about your business in terms of that to give away access, results in advance, something that will move them down the path that will allow you to demonstrate your capability and your reliability and your performance, the better off you are. So I look at it as trying to make it an irresistible offer so that it's the lowest barrier possible for that person to jump over and become a prospective client for your business.
That's good, man. You know, like over here, our group, you know, a lot of these guys are building agencies. So if you have the client online and you're sharing them the exact strategies that you're using, you know, you're not going to don't be scared that they're just going to get up and start doing what you're doing. One, they're probably really busy anyway. So you're just sharing your knowledge and they're going to say, hey, that's good, man. Can you do it for me? Because I don't have time. Or two, they're going to realize it's a lot more skill and you have to have a lot more experience in actually doing, you know, like, oh yeah, I can place a Facebook ad. It's like, yeah, but Tuhin's been doing this for years. Like he's really good at it. So going with our service they realize that it's not as easy as we make it sound sometimes, you know? So yeah, don't be scared to give out that information, man.
Remember this. Here's something you can write down. Write down this quote. Service to humanity is man's greatest work in life. We get back in direct proportion to what we give out to other people. It just keeps coming and coming and coming. The more you give, it just keeps, you'll never outgive the universe. I promise you. There's so many businesses out there. And to the point that you made just now, Rory, most people don't want to do it. Dan Kennedy, if any of you that followed, he's old school. He passed away last year, but he was a very old school marketer, created a program called Magnetic Marketing and wrote many books, these no bull books and all that. But Dan Kennedy was a master direct response marketer. And one of the things that he talked about was that everybody says, teach a man to fish and you'll feed him for a lifetime, right? You know, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, teach him to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime. But the fact is, Dan said, the fact is nobody wants to know how to fish. They want a plate with a nice fillet with the rice pilaf and the asparagus on the plate and a roll and a glass of sweet tea. They don't want to freaking fish. They got other crap to do with their day. They're trying to build their business, not learn how to run ads or generate clients online or whatever. So go out there and teach them the model, and they're going to come back to you. Another old school guy, Gary Halbert, direct response copywriter, was a master, also is dead now. But Gary Halbert talked about his very first copywriting seminar that he ever did many, many years ago. He charged $7,000 for people to come. And that was in a time when $7,000, it's still a decent amount of money. It was a lot of money back then. $7,000 to come learn how to write copy from Gary Halbert. Packed the room out. taught them for, I think it was 3 days or 4 days that he taught them copy. These were all business owners and people that wanted to learn how to write copy so they could better market their companies. They all got on the plane and went home. 2 weeks later, they all called Gary and said, could you please write our copy? Why? He had become the authority in their minds, and they didn't want to do the work. So they just gave it back to him. And it's the same thing in the agency business. The more you teach, the more you give, the more you can parade your expertise out in front of people and provide value in advance, the more the business will come back to you.
That's good, man. That's good.
I got to go, guys.
All right, man.
My wife is waiting, and I like to sleep indoors. So I'm going to go have a Saturday.
All right, man. Enjoy. Really, we appreciate your time, man.
Let me put up one more slide. If people want to connect with me, a good way to connect, you can go to jpmaroney.com. It's got access to content, but it's also got ways to follow me on all the platforms. The best way to really connect with me probably is LinkedIn. Send me a connection request. I'm happy to accept it. If you don't like, if it asks you for an email address or something, you can put in jp@harborcity.com, and I'm happy to accept the connection request. Any way I can add value, happy to do it. And back to what I said at the beginning, Rory, mad respect for what you guys are doing. I'm excited about the program y'all put together, and excited about things that we're talking about working together.
Thank you, man. Hey, I got 2 questions. I'm not going to ask them now, but I just want to let people know we had two listeners that posted questions. So I'm going to text them to you later on, JP. And whenever you have
are they complicated questions?
One says, question, can a webinar or Zoom call be a good tool to start creating my courses?
Oh, 100%. Okay, so I can speak I have over 50 info products that I've created over the years. Many of those products were created by building an outline, a set of slides like we did today, teaching it live, and then it became the course. So yeah, there's your answer.
All right.
That's a great way to create a course. Next question.
And Richard says, is there any free app or website that gives an email sequencer for email marketing that registered to my opt-in? I guess like a MailChimp or something, right?
Yeah, ActiveCampaign is what we use. I know you're a big fan of ActiveCampaign because it not only mails, but it's got so much automation capabilities with it, the ability to let the technology do the heavy lifting for you on all this. But yeah, I mean, most any of those will work, and most of them either have an API that you can tie into your app or software, and if they don't, most of them will connect to Zapier, which will then connect to most apps and things out there. So
yeah, they have a free tier. So by the time you grow out of the free tier, you're probably making enough money to pay for it. You know what I mean? So use the free tier to start.
You guys have a great Memorial weekend. I'll see you. Take care.
Thank you, JP. Appreciate you, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Man, that was good, bro. That was really good.
Yeah. So I froze. I think I lost it.
Oh yeah, let me see. Let me see if I can bring you back. We're still live.
Yes. Can you guys see me? It's still.
No.
Rory, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you continue with our plans and the spreadsheet and everything? So I'll just log out because my internet is unstable. Like I told, we got hit by a cyclone and things are not back to normal yet. My place.
Yeah, man. No. I know you're in the office today too, right? Which is kind of cool.
Yeah. My phone's hotspot. So
let me share my screen here. He brought up one of the tabs that's in the niche, right? He brought up he spoke. I have it here as joint ventures. He calls them like strategic alliances or whatever, which is further down on the checklist. But over here, I listed like 2 places. He said locally is really good. So you can consider just because I want to continue what JP was talking about, like if you're gonna locally, like he was saying, right there in your acres, you have places like meetup.com that you can go to, right? There are lots of like local business meetings on Meetup, so you can actually check to see and just start meeting these people face to face. It's probably the best I mean, when you do stuff online, it's a numbers game. So if you do cold email or whatever, you just hammer people. You're trying to look for people to do joint ventures with. Obviously, your contact list is a great way to start, right? Because you want to do it as a warm lead, right? Not a totally cold lead. But if you're going out a little further than that, if you've already gone through your contact list, thank you, hon. Then local business meetings are a really good way to meet other companies, to meet other clients, and also to meet other companies that are not direct competitors that you can do these joint ventures with that JP was talking about, man. So that's one of the tabs in the sheet. We went over the sheet in the video, man. I'm just kind of waiting to see. I'd love to see somebody to post the sheet, like the first person to post their sheet. Maybe we can go over it on a different video. But yeah, man, I'm glad that he spoke about the joint ventures. I have that here at the bottom. After you kind of find your niche, see who your target is, see who your competitors are. Joint ventures is, a really great way. It's just an extra revenue stream, right? So yeah, man. Things are looking. Let me see if I bring Tauheed back in. Hey, you're live. Here we go.
The key takeaways.
I
Number
can't
one,
hear you.
build connections. Build connections. That's the key. That's what we did for the first week. You go look for people in your market, add them as friend, join relevant groups, start the conversation, start building your list, start building connections, add them as friends on Facebook. I do not do LinkedIn. I'm a Facebook guy, so I just do Facebook and Instagram, but you can do it across platforms, doesn't matter, right? Add people. Like for an example, we are adding loan officers as in my list, right? And then we start talking to them and we start giving it away for free, right? We give them a tour of our CRM, like how the entire model works, how it's super easy, how everything is in a centralized place. We just give it all away for free, right? So don't be scared. Build connections, post value, connect with people. That's what you're gonna do, number one. Number two, I know people don't want to do the work, the spreadsheet. That's super, super helpful. And JP, like you said, he's gonna give us his avatar worksheet, which we will post in the group, so you can download that too, and you can start working on identifying who your ideal prospect is, where they hang out, the groups they are in, the Reddit threads, where people Quora questions. So just engage so that people know you, and just book a strategy session or something, start a conversation on a chat, make a Loom video, and just send it to them. Hey, this is how we do it. Look, have a look. So start building connections so people will reach out to you and you can offer your services later, right? So
yeah, good, man.
Yes. On our first episode, we spoke about building the machine. If you remember, we are in phase 1, 0 to 10K, where we will be doing a lot of manual stuff. We'll be doing cold. So we haven't set up cold outreach yet. We are just building connections and helping loan officers, getting a system where their leads turn into booked appointments on autopilot, so that they do not need to lift a finger, just talk to qualified prospects and close a deal. That's all they want, right? So we're talking to them, we are showing them, they're coming to us. So we have like a good lineup of loan officers who are ready to work with us right away. So maybe by Monday we will cross phase 1 and we'll be at 10 to 30K phase 2. Meanwhile, me and Ray will be sharing our automation, our agency CRM, the snapshot that Rory was talking about, and then we start sending bulk emails, maybe lump emails, maybe sending real mails to loan officers, right? I mean, with the service and with the CTA, like you said, right? So these are a few things that we're gonna be doing in the upcoming week, and yeah. So for the first week, not bad. We are at 24K a year, 2K a month. It's closed, and we are working on it. We are talking to a few other. So where are you at phase 1? Let us know. If you have any questions, building your agency, scaling your business, you can always ask us on the group. Me or Rory will reach out to you. That's it. I think we are pretty much done. That's it from me, Rory.
Yeah, man. What Tauheed said, man. Start sharing with the group what you're doing, right? If you're not sharing, you're probably not even doing it. You're just watching us do it. but the advice is going to be actually do it while we're doing it, right? We're doing it, you're learning it. You should also be doing it and sharing what you're doing. Don't wait till the end of the course to then start from the beginning and say, okay, now I'm going to build my agency. Huh? Do it as we're doing it.
And we have some big joint ventures coming. I think we will announce this next week, maybe. We are talking to a lot of people. Like JP said, like non-competitive businesses who serves to your client. So you can cross, you both can, this is huge. So when we actually do it, we are talking to people. We're talking to a few guys about joint ventures so that we can tap into their list. They already have an authority. And we're going to do a lot. Let's not talk about this. Once we are done, we have a deal, we'll come back to the show and we'll show you.
Yeah. What's important is that you start building those contacts now. Start building a list of clients that you're going to be approaching, because we're going to be setting something up where you want to have those things in place to take advantage when the program starts.
Right. Exactly.
Cool, man.
So I think today. So see you at episode 3. And our personal goal is to reach phase 2 before episode 3. So the 0 to 10K will be over. So on episode 3, if nothing happens, our machine will be ready. Right? So we'll start cold emailing, LinkedIn DMs, FB DMs, mass mailing, sending lumpy mails, maybe. So there are a lot of things in the work. So by third week, next Saturday, the system will be ready so that Rory can screen share and show our agency CRM that we are building. That's big, huge. Like straight from onboarding clients, sending them proposals, sending them Stripe, collecting payments. There are a lot of things in here, sending them onboarding videos to how to give business manager access, how to give page roll, in the membership area that we have inside our CRM that we are building. So on the third week, it will be up on episode 3. So we'll show you the machine. We'll show you exactly how to use it so that you can build yours, or maybe you can just buy one from us if you want, maybe, or we'll break it down to you so that if you are a techie or you want to play with it, so you can build out one for yourself.
Cool, man.
Right.
All
right. That's it. You have anything to say?
Nah, man, we're good to go.
See you next Saturday, and we'll be going live here and there on the group, and we'll keep updating you. We'll ring the bell 10K very soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah, later.